It's the co-meet and a true banger, one for the hardcores for sure, because both these guys are at the absolute top of the division as far as talent is concerned. We got Damir Ismagulov, 5-1 in the UFC, coming in off his very first UFC loss. It was against Arman Tsarukyan, and that was a pretty close fight. I think that of all of Arman's contests, besides the fight against Islam, it might have been the closest one for sure, but nonetheless, he took the L, but he had some beautiful wins before that. We mentioned earlier the split decision win over Guram. He took out Thiago Moises. He absolutely smoked Joel Alvarez, and both those guys are pretty tough 155ers. So I'm interested to see if he rebounds from that first UFC loss against Grant KGD Lawson, who is a guy Dawson, who just continues to win fights. I mean, the record speaks for itself, 19-1-1. He only has the one early loss way pre-UFC, all the way back in 2016 when he was just slept by a YOLO. So this guy KGD continues getting better every single fight. He's on a beautiful win streak. Most recently, absolutely dismantling Mark Madsen and putting a stop to that hype train. And one thing that was interesting about that contest was Marco Madsen is known as this wrestler, right? But Grant Dawson sort of out-grappled him and out-positioned him on the ground. So that to me spoke to the well-roundedness of Grant Dawson, and I tend to think he might need a little bit of that groundwork in this fight against Damir, who is as well-rounded as they come. So who are you going with in this one, Meat Boy? It's a straight pick-em, -110 for each guy. You taking Damir or you going Dawson?
Yeah, I'd love to see that there's still a lot of respect on, Damir right now. And, Tapology, they think, Damir's going to get it done. But it's just a little crazy to me after seeing how insane Grant looked his last fight that people are still rooting and believe in Damir when Damir retired because he got upset he'd lost his first fight ever. It was a little weird. And then he goes, "Oh, I guess I can't retire. I forgot I'm still under contract." It was just a lot of weird stuff, and maybe it was mistranslations, and maybe he never retired. I don't know. I gotta. I'm a big Damir fan before he was being a little sour, baby. So I'm gonna ride with Damir, give him one more chance, but it will not surprise me if Grant Dawson absolutely ragdolls him.
Yeah, I'm interested too. And you mentioned ragdolling, what this fight looks like on the mat, because Damir we know is super well rounded, and obviously so is Dawson. So it's just like who is better at their well roundedness, I guess, in this one. And on Tapology, 65% thinks that Damir will be the one that emerges on top, and 35% rolling with KGD. It's basically beige on both sides. A little bit of copper sub for that Grant Dawson submission. Excuse me. What are your thoughts on this fight going the distance, or any chance it finishes under 15?
Yeah, I think I could totally see it going decision. Both these guys are decision warriors, but it would not surprise me if Damir wants to put a statement out and gets a KO or submission. And also, wouldn't surprise me if Grant gets a submission also. Grant gets finishes here and there time to time, so it would not surprise me, but I think Damir's too good to get finished, and I could see Grant being not too good to get finished, but good enough to maybe squeak out a decision win.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? If Damir is able to get a KO, then you'll probably be getting some really juicy numbers for that. Because while he had a lot of knockouts early on throughout his MMA career, the guy hasn't gotten a finish by strikes. Definitely not in the UFC, and only maybe once in his last 10 fights or so. So if Damir picks up a finish against Dawson, that would be dirty for sure. But in this one meet, I'm gonna go with KGD Dawson. It just seems like the guy is continuously getting better. I like that he trains at ATT with obviously a litany of tough guys over there. And you brought up a great point. Like, it was very interesting when Ismagulov retired and then came back a couple weeks later. Like, you never like to see that. And if Damir has even one pinky toe out of this game, then Dawson seems like a fighter that will capitalize on that. So I'm going to go Grant Dawson. I'm going to go likely by decision, but might be inspecting a late finish for Dawson, because I think that people are sleeping on his finishing capabilities, and makes sense because Kazakh is that tough. But if he's one foot out, maybe Dawson's able to do sneak a submission late in the fight. So I'm going Dawson. Any last thoughts?
No, don't blame me for doing that. Throw in the comments who you taking. Are you taking Dawson or Kazakh?